we are privileged now to be joined by jockey Juan Leyva, who piloted Juan Musical Romance to victory. We also have now ascending the platform Adam Lazarus of Pinnacle Racing. And gentlemen, congratulations. Oh, here we go. Trainer and co-owner, Bill Kaplan. We'll let everybody get seated. By the way, the order of finish for the first five, we don't yet have margins, but the order of finish for those keeping track, Musical Romance first, Switch was second, third was Her Smile, fourth was number 12, Pomeroy's Pistol, and fifth was number 3, Turbulent Descent. So in program numerical order, the top five were 5, 6, 11, 12, and 3. Okay, now we've got everybody here. Again, on my left, Juan Leyva. In the middle, trainer and co-owner Bill Kaplan, and on the far right, Adam Lazarus of Pinnacle Pinnacle Racing, I should say. Congratulations to all of you. Juan, pretty good career record in the Breeders' Cup now, 1 for 1. Take us through the journey.
You know, she broke pretty sharp. I was trying to get her to relax a bit. Once Golden Mystery got in front of me, I was able to get her off a little bit, off the bridle. And around the turn, I thought I was pretty confident in her because I hadn't asked her to run yet. And I saw that on the outside, Pomeroy and Turbulent Descent started moving. So I just waited a little longer for Tamron Hall to kind of die off and let me through there. And once the seam was there, I went through it, and my filly fired.
And just quickly give the margins now that we have them. Musical Romance first by a length and a quarter. Switch was second by a head. And the third place finisher, Her Smile, was third by 2.5 lengths. Bill Kaplan, congratulations. I can't say that you're a perfect 1 for 1. You did have 2 previous Breeders' Cup starters back in 1994 and 1995, but none since. What was so special about Musical Romance to bring you back?
Well, she's been improving since day one, really, and this last year when we moved her to sprinting, she was just impressive in every race. And if you look back on her record and look at her films of the last 8 races coming into this race, she was very impressive in every one of them. She split horses, she came through the rail, she always was right there, and she had a lot of confidence in her rider. Juan was able to get 9 great trips in a row. That's very hard to do at this level.
And speaking of Juan, and I'll address this to both Bill and to Adam, Juan is not, as evidenced by the fact this was his first Breeders' Cup mount, not a name often associated with Grade 1 stakes winners. I'm sure when you have a horse the quality of Musical Romance, your cell phone is called repeatedly by jockeys' agents, but as Bill just said, Juan's delivered every time for you, and you've stuck by him. Can you comment on your loyalty and also a comment about Juan's skills as a rider? Adam?
You know, one of the things you talk about as an owner is sometimes even myself can make mistakes, and you get too meddlesome into what is going on in the day-to-day activities at the barn. And when you have a horse that has talent and you don't think you're getting out of it, sometimes as an owner you are rushed to make judgments. And I rushed to make judgments in terms of finding another jockey early on this year, and I took for granted the relationship between the trainer, the jockey, and all that goes on in the morning, and I got involved, and I made a mistake. And, you know, you just made a mention this is Juan's first Breeders' Cup race, but if you take a look at, quote, what's going on at Calder, all the big horses, I shouldn't say all, but I would say a good chunk of them are going Juan's way. There's nobody out there that gets up in the morning as early as he does and is willing to put in the extra hours, the time, and the relationships that he has with the trainers, and even me as an owner. He's brutally honest with me, and I'm happy anytime he gets on a horse for us, because the one thing that I've learned over the course of this year is you got to have relationships and you got to have trust. And if you don't have either one, you're going to struggle in this game.
Well, perhaps a good chance a few more horses at Calder now continue to come your way. Bill and Adam, one thing that kind of jumps off the page when you look at in 2020 hindsight, this horse only cost you $22,000. Can you tell us about the day when you purchased her and what it was that caught your eye that perhaps eluded some others?
Well, when I select horses at the sale, I work 95% off their breeze. when I buy 2-year-olds, and I only buy 2-year-olds. And her athletic performance during the breeze zeroed us in on her, and we just went for it, and we got her for a very reasonable price, I thought, obviously. And that was the main thing I go by, and she proved to be worth it. She was the athlete we were looking for.
And we'll throw questions open again. Anybody upstairs can ask by going over to Angie, and you can ask your question directly. Juan, you made kind of a deft move at maybe the 3/16 pole, shifting to the inside. Is that just where the daylight was for you, or were you kind of hoping to get to the rail, which seems to be maybe a slightly better pathway today?
You know, it just happened. That's where the daylight came. You know, like I said earlier, I was just waiting for that horse to kind of slow down, give me the room I needed to shoot through there. Because like I said, I still hadn't really asked her, and I knew if I could just get a little bit of daylight, I'd get through.
Okay, questions for Team Musical Romance? And yes, sir, go right ahead.
The trust that you talked about, is that what brought you here? And is it great to see that trust rewarded with a huge win?
You know, going into this race, when I looked at the PPs and everything like that, and you looked at all the horses, and I looked at the odds board and the investment we made, if we didn't make the investment and I was a handicapper today, I just want to ask all you guys out, you guys here on an everyday basis, wouldn't Sassy's Image be like either the first or second choice in this race, even with turbulent descent? We lost by this much to her. Now, I heard all about the Zenyatta trip and all this other nonsense, which is great. I'm not taking anything away from any of those people. Mike Smith's great ride. Sassy's Image is a superstar. But we lost by that much. And to be like the odds today, believe me, my pocket is thankful. But at the end of the day, we had no way to be that price. I mean, this is, first of all, beyond the talent that Bill just talked about, have you ever seen a horse with this much guts? You can't see that at a sale. This is called stone cold luck. And we just found it. The filly is special for talent, but she's got a heart that's unbelievable. And that's how we're here.
Bill, she's an iron horse in a time when horses don't run very much. What about her allows you to start her 13 times a season for the last couple of years?
Well, to be real honest with you, I'm going to tell you something. We bought her out of the sale. Second day galloping on the training track, she cracked her pastern. And it took a couple screws, and we brought her back. And ever since then, she hasn't had problem one. The more I race her, the happier she gets. And she's really, really remarkable. I think she's improving with every start that she gets. And she is an iron horse. And she's not only an iron horse, she's got something else. She's won on dirt, turf, synthetic, short, long, mud. Every possibility this filly has won on. And she's run against great company. I think this is the best filly I've ever seen around this year, sprinting for sure.
My question is, was the Breeders' Cup your long-term objective? Because the route you have taken, you put her on a turf race at Calder end of August, then went to Presque Isle Downs, then went to Keeneland, and there you had the beating a switch, and there your confidence level must have gone up. Was that the reason you decided to go for the Breeders' Cup?
Well, let me give you the race on the turf at Calder was really in thinking ahead for Prescott Isles. We wanted to get her on the grass and get her closing real strong on it and going fast fractions because that's what she'd have to do. Calder's kind of a slower fraction racetrack. We got to Presque Isle, we won the race, and she won it really, really well. And we were thinking about Breeders' Cup, but to be honest with you, I was looking for a sponsor. It was not a good fiscal decision. Well, it is now. But at the time, it cost us $130,000 just to get her in the race. We had a $100,000 nomination and $30,000. That means we had to run second to break even. We run third, we would have lost $50,000. So we had a lot of confidence that she'd do good, and we also knew this is the one shot for this filly to be a champion, and everyone involved be a champion, and it just worked out great. Now, I tell you, I couldn't be happier.
Adam, since you brought up Sassy Image, she and perhaps also Hilda's Passion were considered the two marquee older filly and mare sprinters. Obviously, Turbulent Descent had a lot of respect amongst the 3-year-old ranks. You mentioned the close decision in the Princess Rooney. Unfortunately, Sassy's Image couldn't make this race, but you were close to her at Calder. Sassy's Image does have a couple of grade 1s. You've got one now. Hilda's Passion, formidable, but I think I know where Bill stands from his earlier comment, but do you think the Eclipse should be going your way?
You know, those other horses that you mentioned, Hilda's Passions, I got a chance to see her up close. And, you know, I watch a lot of owners go through these press conferences and kind of pontificate about their horses and stuff like that. And I'm not going to do that, only because I have a lot of respect for not only the game, but the two horses. You know, Dale, I mean, to be honest with you, if there's a person out there that follows the game closer than me, I got to meet him. And that includes you, Lenny, because I watch your blog on Blood Horse. But the bottom line is I follow the game very, very closely. And I've learned my lessons. You can't make, you know, Hilda's Passion, Sassy's Image. These are great fillies. If we win it, it's great. If it's not, it's okay. I mean, I'd like it to get it for Bill because, hey, he gets up at 4:30 in the morning. Juan gets up at 4:30. I want it for them. For me, to be quite honest with you, I need to build my partnership up, and I'll do whatever it takes.
This won't hurt it. Juan, when I talked to your trainer, he said that you had ridden this horse flawlessly for, 8 times in a row. Is there something between certain horses and riders where you get along and they respond well? And just describe the way you've been able to do this 9 times in a row with this horse and never take a bad step with it.
You know, I mean, obviously some horses run more for other jockeys than they do for others. And I just don't get in this filly's way. I let her do what she's comfortable doing, and when it's time to go, I just ask her to go. I don't really do anything special on her. I just guide her around there.
All right, well, gentlemen, clearly a day that not one of you will ever forget the rest of your lives. Juan Leyva, Bill Kaplan, Adam Lazarus. Oh, we have another question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
This is for Jockey Leyva. Now that you have burst on the national scene, people want to know who you are. Because this is a podium where John Velasquez and Javier Castellano, but we have a new rider that shows if the common man has a chance in racing. Tell us briefly how old you are, how long have you been riding, and how many winners have you ridden so far in your career, quickly.
Well, first off, I'd like to say, Feliz cumpleaños, jefecita, si lo estás viendo. That means happy birthday, Mom. It's her birthday today, so it was very special for me to win this race today. And I'm 27 years old. I was born in Mexico. And I'm doing this because my dad forced me to. I didn't really want to be a jockey. I wanted to be a football player, but I was too small for that. So I settled for being a jockey. And, I mean, I love what I do.
And I suppose after today there are no regrets.
All right, well, I'm sure both your mom and your dad are extremely proud of you today. Juan, congratulations to you, Bill Kaplan, and Adam Lazarus. Musical Romance, the winner of the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Congratulations.